Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauracrapo. This is my dog, Dr. Disco. And we are gonna take a pause from jumping all over me to do this subscriber request, to do a reading on Big Sean and Ariana Grande. And as you can probably tell from my age, I'm not that up on recent music and stuff. I did do a reading on both of them separately already that people requested, and I gather they're together because this reading was asked for. So I will just dive into it and see what I see. In general, my work, when I work with clients or I do readings, I'm always looking for messages of what's for the highest good of everybody. My readings aren't gossipy, so you won't find that in my reading. But what you'll find is advice for both of them, or what would be the best path, whether it's together or not, or you know what I mean? If we're not going through life thinking love is codependent and having and not having, and instead of unconditional love, then suffering will exist in a codependent kind of structure. But I'm looking forward to seeing if they have unconditional love going on. That would be nice. Where are my glasses? I'm gonna need those. Oh, here. All right. I love these glasses, but I think I either need an update on the prescription, but I also wish I had two pairs just for variety, because I'm not always feeling this serious. But my goal with these glasses was I was give me your strongest frames, because I wanted to look like a badass and like a Hollywood producer circa whatever 1945. And mission accomplished. But I can't really wear feminine frames for some reason. They don't look good, or so-called feminine frames. And but I do wish I had a second pair. But because I have these are bifocals, so it's an investment each time I get a pair of glasses. Okay. All right, so here we go. I should have put in the title talking about my glasses. So that's what actually happened. Okay. All right. Hopefully the dog will behave. Sometimes I have to do readings where he looks like he wants to move around and bark right now. It's not good. Buddy, just chill out. I don't want you to go barking everywhere. Okay, this one. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do 2 rows, one for Big Sean and one for Ariana. I'm saying her name. Okay. I have a bunch of decks, and I like to cross-reference, so I'll see what comes out. It's actually warm now in Montreal. Super pumped about that. Winter is just 3 months too long for my taste. And we're finally out of it. So summer will be long enough that we forget winter exists, and then we're back in. Okay. All right, what do we got here? With that. Already I feel that Ariana is wishing this relationship a lot of, good luck. Maybe she's the majority energy behind it. How someone, I had a long-term relationship like this where I was sort of providing the structure and all the effort, and somebody else was like, oh, you're willing to do all that for me? Great. find him. I wasn't really like love-based in that case from their side. So, okay. So that can be like awkward, like life lesson. People come into our lives to like kick our ass, to like teach us to love ourselves more. And if we're not, they're like, all right, I'll let you love me until you've got nothing left, and then I'll walk away, and then you have to figure out that you have to love yourself more. That's basically how that works. I hope you can hear me. I don't talk that loudly. Right, okay. But there is a microphone on this computer, so also my computer is really weird lately because I think I sort of hit it against the wall, the door frame, when I was walking in the morning. It was clumsy, and now it keeps like just shutting down for no reason, and then I get these error messages that make me mad at Apple and want to get a Samsung laptop instead. You know, I'm not like a huge post Steve Jobs Apple fanatic, because like I think the vision for what he wanted like left with him. He took that with him. At least they're not like, well, are they still selling those like turquoise? Anyway, like as soon as he dies, they start throwing in these color schemes and stuff, and it's just like freaking downhill from there. Okay. Anyway, and one time my son broke his iPhone, and then I happened to have this, I don't know what, like this Samsung we weren't using, and then I started using it just because like because he's prefers Apple, and I didn't care. And but then once I like got over myself with the graphics and stuff from the Samsung, I was like, this is a better phone. Thank you Jesus for breaking one of the family phones so I could enjoy this better camera, longer battery life, better screen, whatever. So yeah, I'm like a little bit pissed. I'm mad at my computer, and I'm going to talk about that until I'm finished shuffling. So hopefully the computer doesn't just like shut down. Hopefully there isn't some like Apple guy watching this video pissed that I'm denouncing their product. He like has the off switch. And the Genius, the Central Genius bar. Okay, sorry. Maybe Apple has like a anger management Genius bar too for people like me who are just like, dealing with their products since their invention. Because I had their first computer, and I was doing like animation on their first computer of a fish for a high school project. It took forever. And then I don't know, whatever. So I have like mixed feelings about computers. Personally, I think like I should have gone like, that's cool, you guys are making computers. I'm not gonna buy any until 2030 and let you guys like figure out all the bugs. So I don't have to deal with this learning curve of like not cool computers. Okay, here we go. So we have Big Sean's pile and Ariana Grande's paw. Mercifully, the dog is not barking. Okay. So Big Sean's pile, the first card we have is Commitment. That's kind of cute. That's nice. Okay. Whew. Just gonna calm myself down and look at this card. So I feel like, he has his own inner process of like optimism, manifestation, like I believe in myself and I can do great things and I'm creative and I love myself and things are good. But like when you're in a relationship, like that's sort of his vibe here. But then this other ray of sunlight is like whoever they're with, it's kind of on them to have their own optimism that can either work well or against his free will or process or what. I think he has good intentions and like not intentions. He's open to things working if they like in a non-controlling way. If Ariana does the work, then it'll work. Like, you know what I mean? If she keeps her vibe like positive and isn't being like codependent, then it can work. But he's not going to be like, making couples therapy appointments and stuff like that is my impression. Which, like in a way it's not, you could argue if you're in a couple, like, it's not your job to like teach someone how to be a human being necessarily. Like nothing against like couples therapy. Personally in my practice, I can talk to a couple. I have talked to a couple, but it's not my favorite because people are unique and like everyone kind of has their own separate path and different messages and their free will. And you also don't need to beat yourself up over what, if something doesn't have legs, like if you're not able to carry through some vision of the relationship, it just means like you gotta like work on something else privately or with somebody else. It's not about like, it's not about like I was able to keep him my whole life. But it's like maybe he wasn't happy, you know what I mean? Like it's more about like learning, growing, being loving, and being loving often means like not being in a relationship with that person so that they can like feel good, like even if you're a good person, you might have different like priorities or temperaments or like for me, I know I can't date someone that eats with their mouth open. I just can't. I can't date someone who's rude to like strangers or wait staff or like I can't date someone that wears Crocs or shirts with words on them. Like I just can't. I can't do it. Like, and that like everyone has their limitations, right? I'm gonna add to that list. I can't date someone that's a regular drinker or that smokes weed. Like I can't do it. Like I just that's my bubble, like, and that means like I wouldn't work with some people who are very cool, but it's just like, so it's nothing against like him or Ariana if it doesn't work like forever and ever and ever. It's like what works and how much can we enjoy this, and I'm doing me as best I can, and that's what drew you to me. You have Ariana to him has like this glimmer of light that he appreciates, but it's like it's kind of on each of them individually and the universe creating situations, whether it goes long term or not. And if you love someone, like some of the people I love the most, like I date guys and like there's some guys that I like love or admire, like I would never want to date them because like I don't want to like mess up their life. Like I don't want to get all in their business. It's like, you're just do you, like be awesome and do stuff you like and whatever, like I don't need, you don't need to like own or control or like see the people that you care about all the time. And like if they love each other truly, it's like enjoy stay conscious and have like discipline during the relationship to maintain a level of respect, and if you're not able to sustain that, you need to do some personal work, then then you're going to drift apart. Like it's not guaranteed it'll work out long term unless they have this type of unconditional love and some sort of like self-discipline, which I feel that actually he has now quite a bit of, like in more than her. And from what I gather, I'm sorry, I don't Google people like before I do readings. I just go off of what I pick up. But like, and from the last reading, like I think he has kids. That drops in some wisdom and like other, if you have other partnerships that are extra meaningful like that, if you're sharing children with them, like kind of increases your wisdom. So you want to get back up? And anyway, I don't think Ariana's had a child yet, so I just sort of feel like if we're measuring his light against hers in terms of unconditional love, I feel like he has like a third more than her, like significant amount. And that doesn't mean she's not a good person. It's just like life wisdom, and also like a sort of ego death in the sense of like, I understand like I don't control everything and I can just do the best I can do right now, and my fame, my whatever, like has nothing to do with that. And there's a certain amount of like, I don't know, like what's that song where they're like, I'm so sorry, like I'm really not cool about this, whatever, referencing lyrics, but like whatever, it's like praying hands more than brag, like that type of thing. Like he's grounded more in faith that is removed from his ego, from his own construction. And I feel like she's still working a bit with like, I created me. And like she puts a lot of energy into, she has faith in her creation, perhaps more than in God, if you can say that. Anyway, that's what I'm picking up. Maybe I could end the reading there, but I have these other cards. So I'm just going to continue with Big Sean's pile here. Then we have the Five of Swords. All right. Yeah, so I feel like when I look at the end of the swords, you see these like bird heads and stuff. So I'm kind of feeling like, he's been through these experiences where he's met and like had important relationships with a series of people who are like beautiful and unique and different, different from each other, and like stand out in a crowd and are powerful in their own right. But that like through their matching, there was like a sort of a death in the sense of an ending of, I guess, sort of hanging it up and walking away type of thing. Like, okay. And that in the scene of that, like there was, it was like inelegantly done, let's say, like the breakup, or, because people like learn how to communicate over time. And sometimes you make like mistakes in communication and stuff before you learn like the importance of the elegance of conversation, or like how to break up with someone, making them, that was my dog snorting at me. Okay. And I think that like the public focuses on like how broken up this flower is, let's say. Like I think the public focuses on like the bad stuff because truthfully, like most people going through life, they're not merging with like the God consciousness. And I'm gonna put my hair on this side because I like it because I can see myself. All right. Yeah, so like some aspects of the press and bloggers and what people that make news tend to focus on the negative or like the drama instead of like unconditional love and other stuff. So that's what we're seeing. Like when we think about him and his exes, people, conjure up the negative aspects of it, but that's not like the whole story. Like part of the story is like we're learning, and just like a samurai, like each situation like sharpens our sword and makes us more defined on like what we want, who we are, where we're going, that kind of stuff. So I feel like he has people who are reflecting back like negativity, but he's managed to find like a corner of peace, like in his faith, his strong faith, and like whoever wants to enter his bubble in peace is welcome, and everybody else like no thank you. I feel like with Big Sean. Okay. And then the next card is the Star. Obviously is like well known, and so that's when I look at this card, I don't get like so much like this sense of healing that the Star card can mean. I just feel like there's this like overpouring like abundance and good records, and like I get chills just like saying these things, holding this card. So it's like I feel like he's had past lives where all this stuff is sort of added up, and he just came into life like knowing what he wanted to do and just like going for it, and no apologies, and like I do this at this level and that's my game and that's who I am. End of subject. Which is cool. It's like an old souls, nice. Libyan gold tektite manifestation. I manifest positive outcomes. Yeah, so I just feel like the thread of like gossip and people hurt feelings and this and that, like that's really quite secondary to just his soul mission of like manifesting and being on a certain vibe of being like blessed. And sometimes people can come in, sometimes like covert narcissists, let's say, that can come into your life and be like, oh my god, I'm offering you so much and you're hurting me, and like you can be doing your best, but it's like no matter what you do, you're like still hurting these people, and it's like, oh my god, like, and then they take their song and dance to some other relationship, and maybe somebody else hurts their feelings too. Like I do feel like it's possible for a person to have like a really great relationship with him if they're able to let him be him and have like a certain amount of like personal freedom, and maybe some time to himself, like unsupervised, trusting him, and to just be in your own light and doing your thing and being really strong. I mean, maybe that's what kind of works for them right now, is that like she has her own thing, she's busy, she's able to kind of like be busy enough that she's not all over him like a wet blanket, but I don't feel like I said before, that her capacity for unconditional love is as high as his at this point, because he went through, I feel like he's been through a lot of different circumstances that were difficult, that taught him the value of unconditional love and faith. so that at this point, like, he's has quite a bit of wisdom on that, and that he's had enough like ego death that can take like that can sit in the front seat and his ego can sit in the back seat. It's not like his ego's gone, but it's like we know the hierarchy, let's say. Okay. Okay. All right, then we have the death card. I really like birch trees. Okay. When I think about this card, like I'm picturing myself in the country. Like I love birch trees, but like in the daytime, I'm not always up for like a walk. In the like I live in Canada, so like wilderness is actual wilderness and stuff, the animals and stuff. So like if you hear something rustling in the, in the bushes when you're walking around at night, in the it's like you might want to go back home. So I kind of feel that kind of like his life could be like safer, let's say. I mean, I know in the United States, like because many people own a gun and stuff, and it can be quite unpredictable living in the States. I feel like the way that he can protect himself more is to, I don't know how much, if he does any giving back to the community, like financially kind of thing. Like, maybe I'm crazy and this is like wrong information, but I think I saw this like Jimmy Iovine documentary, and like Ice Cube made, I hope I'm getting the right person, made like a civic center in the neighborhood where he grew up. But that kind of thing, like, I feel like if Big Sean contributes like a school or like a community center, it doesn't have to be huge, just something, or like something that is like a free service that helps the community, in some way. And it could just be like one storefront. It doesn't have to be massive and like millions of dollars or anything like that. But it's like making a difference. I feel like that will kind of take the edge off of this slightly like dangerous vibe. Yeah, I just kind of feel like it would be really good if he did something like that, like to it's like there's a shift that needs to take place, is what I'm saying. Like the vibe. Like I'm not being hired right now to do healing work on him, so I'm a bit reluctant to like solve those issues right now with distance healing and stuff. But I am giving this advice if he watches this. I'm just trying to look at it. Also, I feel like if he talks about his life, I don't know how much of like a candid interview subject he is or not. I feel like if he shared from his heart, and from his heart and wallet to some degree to the community, like that'll kind of take this like element of what if out of the picture and have things safer and stuff. Because maybe like yeah, it would just make people feel like they know him more, or like they're his friend. You know how like if someone's like really like to make like a comparison, or how like Drew Barrymore has like her talk show and she's like very much open with her feelings and makes herself extremely vulnerable on the show. I'm not saying do that, but like that type of thing where like people feel like they know Drew Barrymore pretty well, from what she's shared. So I feel like if he shares more, Even just in one interview, not like a Oprah 2-hour kind of thing, but like just someone he respects that will not ask stupid questions, that will allow him to like seem human and approachable. Like that will take away that kind of danger element, because then it's like when you walk by the street and you see him, you'll be like I know you, I got you kind of thing. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles. All right. So because I'm doing this reading of the two of them together, like I'm seeing that in this card, you know, obviously this is like having it all, like it's like a sort of marriage card, like a long-term stable relationship kind of thing. Like I said, I feel like I feel like the door's open for things to work out from his perspective. She's in the picture. Things seem good, right now. But it's really like, can you maintain yourself at this level? Like, how, like, if I don't know if she has like a diva side to her, or like, I don't know if she plays nice to get into the relationship and then becomes bridezilla, or like, I don't really know her personality. And I do see like a child in this card, so I don't know if they want to also have a child too. I feel like if they do have a child, then they may end up breaking up, just because like he's really on his mission, his work. He needs a lot of time to like let's say, like, the way it would work out if she did have a child is if she didn't put a lot of pressure on him to like, change diapers and etc. Like, realize who you're dating. Like, you're dating someone who's highly ambitious, who is like so on his career, it means everything, and he's creating something. And like, if you want to have a child with me, fine, but don't ask me to like heat up a bottle at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, realize who you're dating. Like, it's not just like some dude, you know. It's like, yeah. So it's up to her whether she wants to date someone who's like awesome, who's like talented, and lots of people like them, and a lot of people want to work with them, and time is taken up from that. Or if she wants to like be with someone who's just like a stay-at-home dad, just like a cute model kind of guy who's just like, hey honey, I made dinner. Like, those are two different kinds of guys. And she decided to date someone who's busy. So if you want to have a kid, be prepared that he will remain busy, and you'll have to like deal with that. And either one of them probably can hire help of some kind, or like, maybe they have like a grandma that is happy to babysit or whatever. But anyway, so they could have a child, but it's like, there's always this like, will she or won't she be cool during this process, is, I feel like, the question. All right, and then we have the 7 of Pentacles. Right. So I don't know. Okay, this is like this is still in Big Sean's pile. So I feel like in his surroundings, there's like lots of women who like, I mean, I guess if you like go out, obviously if you go out and you're a performer, you're generally performing at clubs or venues that serve alcohol and stuff. But I just feel like there's a lot of like women holding a glass around, but they don't like mean a lot to him. He's seen a lot of pretty faces in his time, and after a while, like, you start to become more discerning about like, you're not like so like, oh my god, someone beautiful looked at me. It's like as normal as water to him now. So like, just to see someone who's like cute, who's like a little bit tipsy, like, is really just wallpaper. Like, it doesn't mean a lot. And that's good. That means he can focus on the relationship he cares about, you know, or like whatever. So if she's prone to jealousy, it's like, don't be jealous. Like he's not, like, just because there's a bunch of honeys around, like, doesn't mean anything. He's focused on, like, he's focused his passion on her, making it work if she can keep her shit together. Sorry to swear, but, like, you know, it's like he's in it to win it. And then, like, are you stable yourself or not? Like, it's not gonna, like, make or break him either way, but, like, he's not doing anything to sabotage the relationship, is what I feel. So it could work out, and it's really on her if it, like, can maintain itself. Okay, I keep saying that, but it's true. Okay, and then we have the Princess of Pentacles. So I feel like there's, like, particularly one ex of his who's, like, feeling sad that things didn't work out for them. But, like, I feel like this person is lacking in gratitude. Maybe that's what broke things up in the first place. Maybe they wanted more financial help than they got. Like, maybe they were in it for reasons other than love purely, and they're feeling kind of depleted or, like, impoverished in some way, and wishing to have more attention. But this person needs to, like, develop their self-love, because if we are always going up to people like a beggar saying, like, am I lovable, they're gonna say no. Like, you can't leave yourself vulnerable to that kind of stuff. Like, even, like, friends and family can tear you down, you know, like, more than other people. So don't ask a human if you're lovable. Ask God, you know, and the answer is yes. Yes, you are. You ask the right person instead of your partner or your mom or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know there's some people whose parents are just, like, over the moon about them, and I mean, I feel that way about my kids. But not everybody's in that situation, and so sometimes we can get these, like, negative reflections back at us, but it's like the safe route is to develop your own self-love, and that's between you and your maker, you know. And when I say God, I don't mean like a guy that looks like Santa Claus who's mean. I in my mind, like, you know, it's like a creative, loving force that's in everything and connects everything, and you're a part of it. And if you're aware of that, you're kind of good to go. If you feel disconnected from that, you're going to feel like this person, like, case of the drought. So there's somebody around him, maybe his most recent ex or somebody like that, or the ex before that one, or someone he had, like, a big, maybe a child with, or major, where they were previously giving them a lot of love and, like, presence and this and that, and they're no longer doing that, and they're feeling the pinch. And, like, you could argue materialism in that case, like, but if we feel like God always has our back and, like, refills the cup, then we don't need to be, like, mad at anyone in particular, right? Okay. Then we have the teacher. So for people who are just tuning in, like, I'm reading Big Sean's pile first, and I'll read Ariana Grande's, but, like, there seems to be information about their relationship throughout. Okay, so we have a teacher card. So in this card, I feel like Ariana is, like, here is what I have to offer, and it's significant. So it's like I'm him and this is her, and it's like I'm being like she's getting in my face saying like here's my cup of like value. And he's kind of like, oh, so maybe it was this, maybe she is the one who like approached him first in terms of a relationship. And he was like, oh, you like me? Okay. Like you seem nice. Like, all right. Like you seem determined. So maybe this is that energy I picked up in the beginning where it's her motivation that started this relationship. And it's like, he's cool either way, whether it works out or it doesn't. And whether she has the energy or focus to maintain this like effort of giving or being present, showing her like the best of her, what she has to offer, then maybe she can teach him something about love or her, or like he's fine to be in this like rich kind of presence. I don't mean rich in terms of money, but like she's that too. But it's a generosity of spirit, like a good performer is a generous spirit, like James Brown, like he's really giving his all, like Little Richard, or like just like in it. In my computer, just high five that with that tone, whatever that notification is. Okay, it's an email. So I feel like a bit of her Achilles heel, and like I can relate to this, is like over communicating. So if she can just like trust more and not over text or like need to monitor things so much. It's like if you think of a relationship like a disco that you're gonna like a business plan, and it's like, how do I want my clients to feel when they come to my disco? I want them to feel like they're glamorous, that they can relax, like the lighting is nice, and we're going to play this kind of music, and we're going to have like beautiful cocktails and comfortable chairs. So if you set up your relationship and initially like this is how it's going to be, this is like when you walk into our relationship, it's going to be this consistent like discotheque, but then like they walk in one day and everything's like knocked over and it looks like IKEA, or like a Crocs store. It's like, what? So don't be like over texting and stuff and turn your amazing discotheque into like IKEA by making it lame all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, did I finished the whole Big Sean pile? Okay, so that's that. Now I'm on the Ariana Grande pile. I'm gonna start with this card. All right, the Prince of Wands. Yeah, so this is her coming forward, initiating the relationship, saying like, I'm into you, I'm on a mission. Like she went out of her way to like go like, I'm here, look at me. Like I rode with holding my passion to come forward and say like, I like you. I feel like that's what happened. And I feel like she kind of feels like, and that's enough. Like I'm here, I'm awesome. Like, like that. But again, there's that like slightly youngish, like ego. And when I say ego, I don't mean like prideful, blah, blah, blah. I just mean like not God consciousness. like there's God consciousness, and there's like, what do people think of me? What have I made? Like human level stuff. So I feel like there a lot of her processes happen on the human level, and she has some faith, but it's not like the driving force. It's not the hard drive. I feel like for Big Sean, maybe it wasn't always, but now his hard drive is more like God consciousness. And for her, she kind of feels like it's enough to just show up and everyone's just gonna like appreciate. It's kind of like this one time ages ago, I was invited by this woman. So you can tell like it was like I have issues about anyway. So anyway, she invited me to go see a show in New York City, like VIP, and I'm not gonna say what band it was, but anyway, so I was in this VIP section, and Kirsten Dunst and the guy with like dark curly hair from The Strokes were there, among other people, but there weren't like a lot of people in this VIP area. Anyhow, I'm not like, I'm shy, like, you know, but I'm not shy when it comes to like famous people, because I just see them as like anybody else, but they've just done stuff more publicly. Anyway, so I was just like, oh, like I liked some things about Marie Antoinette, like the movie she was in. So she's right there, so I'll just tell her like, hey, like, I enjoyed your work in Marie Antoinette. And then she turned to me and said like, and nothing else. And I was like, I just like was like, okay, have a good evening. And okay, and it's like, I don't know, like I didn't watch, like just because you did a good job in one movie that I went to see doesn't mean like I've seen everything you've done. And it's not like, like Al Pacino, like I've seen The Godfather, and I've seen the other one where he plays like a Cuban drug dealer. Scarface, I've seen those, but I'm not like going up to him going like, I loved you and when you were blind dancing. You know what I mean? Like I don't love everything you've done. Like, come on. Anyway, so I kind of feel like Ariana is like sort of Achilles heel right now. Is like she expects people to know like everything she's done, like every success. Just like no one, just assume no one knows anything. like I know nothing. All I know is that like when my daughter played a bunch of like singers, like recently famous singers who are on the young side, I told her like I thought Ariana had like the best voice amongst them. So all I know about her is that she sings well, and she tends to wear like a ponytail sometimes. But like that's literally all I know about her. So I feel like she shouldn't be like walking in a room saying like just feeling like everyone knows like literally everything about me. Like they don't, because everyone's busy. And so the difference between Big Sean and her is that he's just like on his work, and part of her like holding her back relationship wise, maybe even career wise, is this obsession with what she's created in terms of persona or reputation. But like we know with a lot of stars, like reputation can change in a hot second, randomly. So you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket. And when I say ego, like I said before, like if she was more in a God consciousness, she wouldn't be so dependent on people like realizing her worth through efforts she's made, like if that makes any sense to you. I'm trying to say it in the nicest way possible. Okay, there's nothing for me to guard against. You exist in a place of absolute well-being. Tell yourself that again and again. Know it. Be the evidence of it to give others reasons to believe that all can be well. So she might have a tendency towards worrying and feeling isolated or neglected. Like, I don't know if she has, um, whatever. What's that word where like your parents don't pay attention to? Um, abandonment issues. Yeah. I mean, I would say I have that a bit of that myself. Um, so I can have a tendency also to be like being hyper vigilant about like how are things going, or like what are they, when are they gonna run off? You know, like whatever. But so I feel like she has a little bit of abandonment issues, and that can like that could negatively affect his kind of just like chilling vibes, because it's like that's not my work. Like if she can really see that like any sort of thing that bubbles up as a negative feeling, like fear, hypervigilance, whatever, you know, self-doubt, that's all her kind of homework bubble. That has nothing to do with anyone. It has nothing to do with Big Sean. It's not his freaking job to solve all of those problems. All we can expect from a partner is just coming together in peace and having a fun memory, you know? So I feel like she needs to just like make friends with her abandonment issues and just go like, yeah, that's a part of what makes me me, and I've made friends with it, and when it comes up I go like, it's okay, you know, like you do whatever it is, like to like make yourself love yourself again, you know, do that so that you're not down, like you're not like putting that in the inbox of the desk next to you, you know what I mean? All right. I don't know why I giggle so much. I giggle a lot when I do readings because like the spiritual energy feels good. Okay, in general. All right. And we have the dissolving light. So I feel like she has, obviously she's in good physical shape, and like she may do a sort of yoga that is like more exercisey than meditative. But I feel like when she sings, that's her form of meditation. Expression, like this like shining light coming off of her, I feel like is like when she sings, she's in this beautiful space that feels expansive and inspired, and that's her like zone, you know, that informs her life and creates her life, creates the structure, the sort of grid pattern of her life is created from her indulging in this inspired creative space. Like she made her life out of singing, you know. And but I do feel like deep down inside, like she can seem radiant and like having it together, but there is this core of her that still is like an inner child needing comfort. So as long as she doesn't like go to her romantic partner for that, she'll be good. She doesn't have to like, I feel like she feels like she has to hide this weakness within her right now. But I think if she can just embrace it, like I wouldn't be who I am unless this part of me was aching inside to communicate or, you know, express this fiery aspect of myself that maybe, you know, like would not have, it maybe wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone through hardship or, you know, and stuff like that. Whew, it makes me kind of, it feels like heavy, there's some heavy stuff in there. I guess like what comes to mind is like her, I guess, was she not like a child actor or like I feel like, Hollywood doesn't do a good job making professional acting work safe. And, obviously that's like, people are talking about that. I feel like there's a lot of stuff here for her having to do with that is like kind of heavy duty, and like the karma on the adults who misbehaved, it's gonna be heavy for those people. I don't feel like she necessarily needs to take time out of her precious life to go after them. She can put it in God's hands and just say, like, you deal with this, like, BS, because like it's too big for me and I want to enjoy my life right now and not be, it's like if you go after like, I would say probably like majority of people in the world, I mean, trigger warning or whatever, but like have been through some sort of abuse of one kind or another, me included. And for years I debated, like, should I take this guy to court? But like, to do that would mean to be in their presence again. And I think like a lot of victims like have this, like, just never want to deal with that person again, And what I would say is, like, there is some element of like letting God do Tetris on everything to make things right. If you feel it would be beneficial for you to, go after someone legally, then find the right people and do that by all means. But it's a pretty heavy subject. But I feel like in her case, in the present moment anyway, I feel like the guidance is to like put it in God's hands completely and just go, like, you know what, that was something they put upon me, that was their actions, and like I see that as separate, and I give that back to God, and like I am whole and beautiful and perfect as I always was, and nothing can change that, and like I'm a child of God, and like there's perfection in that, and like just kind of own your space and like put that, like, the garbagey terribleness like in God's hands for the moment, so you can feel like you did something to unload that inner pain that might be like subconsciously dictating your choices, because you want to like you want to have like a very stable belief in yourself so that you can have like functioning relationships and stable life and stuff for work and whatever, and good health. I was like, okay. Anyway, I'll let that go for now, but this is an aspect of her that she has to as part of her who she is. So it's like, and yeah, so without going down that rabbit hole anymore, I'm just gonna go to the next card because I could talk about that for hours. Okay, so I chose to be here in this glorious physical body. To be this me has been my choice. You chose the opportunity to experience this delicious contrast and to co-create with other joy-seeking beings, to fine-tune the process of deliberate thought. Like what, where, when, and with whom you create our choices too. So, okay, I find, like, I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks, but I find like these cards, like sometimes the wording is like, has like 10 left turns in them, something. There's a lot of subjects being brought up in one sentence. Okay. So, you know, as a soul, you chose to like to look at how you are, to, you know, born in that your family, and to have certain talents like already hardwired and stuff. And so like owning that like continuous, it's my choice to be me, you know, embracing that. And you're here to like experience other people who made a similar choice to be here and be themselves exactly as they are, and to create like joyful situations, and through mistakes and whatever, you fine tune what you want to create in those moments and stuff. So in terms of their relationship, I'm just going to think about this. So I feel like she's really mastered like herself, but this new relationship feels like a sun, or like what looks like a ball. You know, it's like she's sort of playing with this, like, let's do this relationship thing, you know. But it feels like a bit separate from her, like a bit, it's different. Like, I don't know if she spent a lot of time alone in life, like in contemplation, and now she's in this relationship. It's like a different kind of environment for her. You know, it's like going from living alone to living with somebody. It's quite different. So I kind of feel like she's in this new space where she's like, okay, you know, where do I fit in your life? You know, and like I was saying before, she might be preoccupied with her like physical self, like her, how she created herself, rather than just like giving it up to God like 24/7. She might have a group of friends that are always trying to bring her back to like focus on the material, like her body and like her, what, you know, her stuff and what she's planning on doing next. And like, you know how like, I guess like rich and famous people have like the show Entourage, like there's a bunch of people kind of blood sucking off of your manifestations. And so I feel like she has some people like that who are basically dependent on her, acting as if they're not, but they are. And there's a bit of toxicity in there, some of those relationships. And in order for those sort of frenemy circle to not overwhelm her new relationship, she has to do some editing and really realize like what makes this relationship work, and how do I need to kind of like take 5 or get some space from some people who are in conflict. They're not saying like, oh, he's bad or whatever, but they're like, their needs are too great to sit in that space of like making this relationship work, because they like need so much time, or they need to influence her to do this or that or whatever. So she needs to have very clear authority, like beyond her years, to sort of stand up to some of these people and go like, my mission in life is not to make your life better. That's the joyful work for yourself. Good luck. And my work is to have an awesome life that has basically nothing to do with you. So we can enjoy each other's company if we're meeting in a space of mutual respect. But like, can some of those people in our life, do they actually have, are they capable of giving her that space and mutual respect without being needy, right? Because then the next card is the 6 of Pentacles, where she's literally giving out money to her friends and stuff. And like, you know, it's like in the form of opportunities, like, oh, you can make my outfit or plan my next event or whatever. But it's like, I think she has to kind of rework this charitable figure persona of hers. If she really wants to make the leap into like Ariana Grande, you know, circa a year ago or what, before they met or whatever. I don't know when she met Big Sean. And then like you make adjustments. It's like if you get married to someone, you're not going to be like going to bars with your girlfriends every weekend because you're married. Like, so there's that kind of thing where it's like things have changed and my schedule has changed and my personal vibe and like how I spend my day has changed. It's like Paris Hilton, you know, after her documentary, she I guess has like a stable guy, like partner who's not like just like a club kid or whatever. He's like a businessman or whatever. And then she like renovated a house of hers and just like she changed it up to suit this new phase in her life. So if she wants to like make a life that is like about creating a stable base with Big Sean, it's like, you know, you can't bring your IKEA into this like perfect discotheque, like I was saying before. And the IKEA might be like these people who are like hangers on, who are like used to getting handouts. And it's like, she should just feel good that she helped some people along the way. And it's not her job to like make all their dreams come true 24/7. Like, if you are always making it happen for other people, then they get lazy trying to make it happen for themselves in some ways. Like, and then they can turn on you, you know, for being like controlling or something, for stealing their activity of like finding themselves. You know, it's like it's an interesting subject, like whether to help or not in terms of long-term sustaining of people who are constantly in this space of like begging for something, like instead of them also standing up and owning their own kind of power, you know. Okay. Okay, and then we have the Ten of Swords. So I feel like she's been like, by these situations, like been stabbed in the back like so many times. It's like it can't happen any longer. Maybe that's what like made her want to like try like a more mature relationship. Yeah, because she's done the like being a victim. And like I said, with like childhood acting stuff and like things that weren't cool that went down in that environment, she's like, it's like that phase of her life is over and she's no longer like a victim anymore. But there's a bit of a learning curve in terms of truly becoming that. She's in the process of stepping out from that into this new, more effective version of herself. And so that she has to be gentle with herself in this process, and also to not overshare about her process to her romantic partner, who in this reading is Big Sean. Okay. So then we have Shaddakite, teacher. I have the divine wisdom of the universe within me, and I openly share it with the world. So did we had teacher and two different, they both, yeah. So Big Sean had the teacher card, but actually in this card I saw it was Ariana Grande showing up on his deck, offering love. So we get teacher again in her pile. I'm just gonna look at this for a second. I mean, obviously this looks like a globe and like these striations like look like airplane flights and stuff. I mean, I'm like she's like a communicator, singer, like, you know, just communicating to the world. I do feel like around 40 or so, she might want to like enjoy all that she's created and kind of do somewhat of a retirement from all the busyness of touring and whatever. Why not? Like, yeah. I when I think of what she's trying to communicate as a teacher, it brings up a lot of this like almost painful emotion, like optimistic, but like what's that word? What's that word? Cathartic. It's a cathartic feeling. So when she's like in an arena singing, she's creating a catharsis in everyone witnessing her show, which is kind of like pressing fast forward on releasing joy, pain, like it's like releasing emotions. It's just like, and because she sings so freely, and it's like it really gets to the core of like inside of you, and just like you know, like releases. So it's not just singing that she's doing, and it's like those really inspired singers who are able to like really just get to your core and go like, what is that note? Like what is like, like, you know, when people just really like nail it, you're just like, oh my god, like, you know, who even thought of those two notes together kind of thing. So she's like a healer teacher through her singing and performances, going around the world, just like unleashing this. It's not like fire, but like, you know, passion, and like these places in people that they didn't even know existed or weren't ready to look at, or you know, this is like their core, you know. So there's this awareness of their core. I feel like that's what she's teaching people. Core awareness. Well, you know, like who are you? You know, and it's almost like, oh my god, like I wouldn't be surprised, like I've never seen her perform, but I wouldn't be surprised if people were like sitting on the curb outside the arena like crying because so much had opened up inside of them, or like fans of hers. Like I wouldn't be surprised if people are just like in tears over like the intense experience that they had of recognizing their true self, you know. So that's pretty cool. But you know, she's able to do that because she herself has been through it. Okay, am I seeing double here? I feel like I already saw the King of Wands, unless I'm just like freely grabbing from the wrong piles. Wait a second. Anyway, for some reason, like King of Wands, I'm looking at this again. I don't know if I put it on the wrong pile. Oops, oh my god. Well, anyway, I think this is a card I picked up before, but whatever. It was still her. This is how she came forward to ask for this relationship. I feel like she's the one who's initiated the relationship with him. And she might have felt that like there were so many other people in his life that it would be impossible to like get over this wall. Or like, do I even belong with these people? And like, am I different? Am I too different? But because she's like smart, like fox, you know, she managed to like figure it out, like, or have the confidence that like one way or the other she'll find a way, you know. And I don't mean that in a sly way, like like not in a deceitful way at all. It's just like, okay, like here's, it's like if someone's popular and they're, let's say they already have a girlfriend or something, it seems like barriers to meeting someone. But it's like, there's ways around it. Like my manager can call your manager. We can do something like a song together, and it's like, it's just work, I'm not sure how they met, but like, I feel like possibility, like they made, like that's maybe how they met, was like initially on a professional level, just like sing on my song or whatever. And then that was the opportunity to get to know each other. And that was her way around having to like, just step into his life and go, I'm here, whatever. It's, if you want to meet someone, you want to meet someone, and that's fine. So I'm just laughing at this card. But I'll just read it. Well, you can see why I'm laughing at it. Okay. So it's like, sexual attraction, obviously. And again, I feel like Big Sean is surrounded by people who like are attracted to him or like are available or whatever, but I don't really feel like he cares. Like I said before, it's just wallpaper. He has enough like knowledge about like where people are at. Like the more people you meet, the more sort of desensitized you get to being overwhelmed, or it's like he can detect like what he truly wants from someone. It doesn't have to be just physical beauty or someone who's like super available. Like there has to be more to it than that. So I feel like they both have like a healthy sexual attraction, and like, it's like life is to be enjoyed, kind of thing. And to not stress about other people around, just enjoy what you have, and don't even give it a second thought, other people's stuff. Like I think from what I saw in Big Sean's cards, he's not always looking to replace someone. Like there'd be good reason for him to stop putting effort into something. Well, and the whole point with his cards is that he doesn't feel like he needs to put effort into stuff. It's like, I'm me. If you're you being awesome you, then we're good. Like I don't need to fix you. You know what I mean? And so if jealousy is ever a thing on the part of Ariana, like there's no need to be jealous, because there's enough that he really likes about you, and don't worry yourself about these people in the background who are just like around, like who cares? Okay, yeah. And then we have fertility. Okay, so like I saw the kid before, and now the fertility card. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like this is like Big Sean's energy here as Pan, playing the pan pipes of Pan. And it's like, I can make babies, like I can have kids. And I feel like if this character is Ariana here in the white dress, like with her arms up towards the sun, rejoicing, I feel like she's sort of calling that option in, but that she doesn't really, like, maybe if she's never had a child before, she's not like totally prepared for motherhood, let's say. But she likes the idea of having a solid life with him, and going there, as But like, I've raised 3 kids, and I found like the most helpful advice compared to any, like better than any book, is watching all the episodes of Nanny 911. Okay. So what I would say to her is like, watch all the episodes of Nanny 911 and then decide if you want to have kids or if you want to put in that work, because that's what it entails. Then we have the Two of Cups. I'll let you look at that. It was too quick for you, maybe. Look at that. All right. So we got the lotus flower, God holding the lotus flower. Yeah, so out of what seemed like impossible, like maybe it seemed impossible to meet him, somehow spirit made it happen and was like slipped its hand like above this mud and was like, actually we can have this beautiful thing take place. Do you have the patience of a whale to calmly go through these seas to navigate this relationship? And you can say like relationships are like water. That's my cat eating food, if you're wondering what that sound was. Because like really, you know, emotions are like this, like they're, you know, can you stay under the surf and just be chill through that? You know, like there's a few things like to be in, you really have to, in this relationship, Big Sean and Ariana Grande, you really have to live in the moment. She has to kind of forgive. I'm not saying forgive like, you're not, when you forgive, you're not saying to your oppressors or, you know, the hard lessons people, like you're not saying like, great job. You're not like high-fiving people when you're forgiving. You're just like giving it up to God and going like, this is no longer my personal homework because I need to get my energy back together and be me as God sees me. You know what I mean? So the mud, what could be the mud, like let's say before they met, right, she had her muddy stuff she had to deal with, he had his muddy stuff, but then God was like, you know what, this is interesting to me, I'm gonna like let this relationship happen. Here's your lotus flower that came out of the mud. And yeah, there can be waves, like in any relationship. There's a lot of like people in both of their lives, but can you swim deep enough in this ocean of love to like ride out the storms and just be chill like a whale? Can you? Anyway, so then we have oh my god, what is 8? I've been like, okay, what is this? I wonder, I'm just gonna, I don't have my little book, so I'm just gonna like see what, I forget, if someone knows what the major arcana 8 is, you can like tell me. I'm just gonna oh my goodness. I guess it'd be quicker if I went on Google and checked. Yeah, I'll do that. Don't mind me. Because this deck is like confusing. It's not like the Rider Waite where you're like, oh, I know exactly what that is. Get it? Major Arcana 8. All right, what do we got? The Hierophant, what? Okay, oh, justice or strength. Okay, yeah, strength. Okay. Why would they say justice or strength? It's strength. Anyway, all right, so strength. There we go. Okay, I actually have to look at this. Okay. So much stuff going on. I'll let you see like what I'm seeing. So there's like these hearts fighting it out here. Some stuff going on. So these could be like their past situations, kind of like being white noise in the background of this sort of house of cards of love that they've built together. But you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, it's a house of cards, so weak, like anyone could come and knock it over. No. Like in the case that, like, if you feel that, like, you know, what God created, no man can put asunder, you know? Like, I feel like Spirit had a hand in making this relationship. And it's like on them, on Big Sean and Ariana, to like chill out and like be deep enough in it that they're not like reactive to every little situation that comes up or what people say or just kind of like bullshit that can happen around the periphery of a relationship that can make it seem weak. But actually this house of cards is strong enough to support her standing in her strength, which is nice. So she has the faith that she can do it, which is really cool. It's nice because like we've seen a lot of different things come up in her cards, and she's like, sure, come at me with your like criticisms or whatever. She's used to standing up for herself. She's good at it. She's better at it than a lot of people. And that can make something that's even newish and like strong enough for her to manage. And this is work that she needs to do alone. Like I was saying before, like it's not her and him on top of this house of cards. She's holding this space of who she wants to be now and in this relationship, and she's not going to let people psych her out. And you can say like, oh, it's new and this happened and that happened. It's like, whatever, it's what I want. And it makes me feel like myself. It makes me feel good. It's actually kind of very sweet. And I feel like there's maybe a guy who's disappointed, like things didn't work out with them, like some other guy who hasn't really been able to get it together yet. Or maybe he'll never find someone like, obviously, like she's a very unique person, so you're not going to find two Ariana Grandes like just like around. Maybe they were like being a bit like cocky and square when they were dating, and then, you know, he sort of chose his ego over being open to the relationship because he felt like he had options, but now he's like, oops. So one of her exes is like, oops. Yeah, and the card that's just staring at me on this pile is Temperance. So it's really on her to like balance. Like when people throw emotions at her, she's just gonna make a beautiful cocktail out of it, you know, and just like she's not gonna drink alcohol. I mean, like, but I'm not endorsing that. But like there's a certain balancing where that energy no longer feels toxic. It's like if someone says something kind of caustic, then you can balance that with like, well, you know, there's that energy, but also today I had like a beautiful breakfast or I had a wonderful walk where this little kid smiled or something. Like that's just as important, you know, and it's just like balancing these experiences to be able to just walk through life in peace, you know. So to summarize, there's, Ariana's going through a period of growth and change and empowerment, and like maybe not dealing with some people that she was always dealing with before, in order to create this like beautiful space and respect for this relationship to thrive and feel safe and to function in beauty. And Big Sean, I feel like, is pretty mellow at this point, and if he wants safety within his community, he needs to give back a bit towards his community, so that they're not like resenting him for being absent, if you could want to put it that way. So like I was saying before, like if he had like some small charity that was like a brick and mortar place where people could go, maybe where he is from, if people in the community, I mean, everybody needs attention right now because it's like COVID and oh my gosh, right? So there's some kind of service that would be helpful, that maybe means something to him, that's like personal, and then maybe through voicing like, I made this thing for the community because it matters to me, because like this happened in my life, or someone important to me, blah blah blah, something or other. Anyway, so I wish for him that he's safe, and I wish for them like a beautiful relationship that is like, well earned and interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna put that back in the mailbox. I'm just gonna end the video because school's out. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm interested in your comments. And if you would like me to do another reading about a celebrity, let me know, and I might do it. Okay, bye.